Hey guys, what's going on? Wanted to come on for a minute. Got me a warm fire going here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Idaho 4, the Bryan Kohbegrer case. There's some new stuff that just came out, and it's really interesting actually. They're starting to, I guess, let a little bit of DNA evidence stuff out. Um, Y'all know that this happened on November 13th, 2022, in Moscow, Idaho, where 4 college students were, trigger warning guys, like bad murdered, right? And it's it's horrible. He was of course been the suspect, the only suspect, linked to DNA, and now we have some new information about the unaliving of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan, and that their lives were taken way too soon, way too soon, guys. Like I said, this was November 13th, 2022. But what I want to do before I get into this is I wanted to bring up something because, as we know, 13 days after all this came out and everything came out, he was also considered a suspect in a case from a year before that, right? From where the college student, 10 minutes from, where this happened, basically in Pullman, Washington, right where he ended up living, right? And it was a college student that woke up to her door being opened. She lived in a basement in an apartment place, at a house, off-campus house, right? And a man came in with a knife, ski mask, all in black, didn't make a peep, didn't make a noise. Luckily, she was able to see him before he got to her, kick him in the stomach, run upstairs, and run outside, and call the police. And then, of course, when they came in to investigate, the back door was wide open. He had went back out the back door, right? It was left open, just like in this case. The sliding door, remember? He went in, left open, came out, right? So it's so much similar, right? Although they've now ruled him out as a suspect, it's still weird that they even put him as a suspect. But, Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan did not deserve what happened to them. Sorry, they didn't. And then the 2 surviving roommates, right, which now we hear that most likely are going to be testifying in this case, is what it sounds to me. Remember, allegedly, these are my opinions, my theories, my thoughts, my speculations, not to reflect on the channel. Y'all's comments, y'all's alone, not to reflect on the channel. And, trigger warnings, of course, in this case, 100, right, million. But there's so many wishy-washy things right now that things are starting to come out since yesterday after that here preliminary deal, and now they have another one on January 23rd where they're going to try again to throw out more evidence. Like, they're trying to get the DNA evidence thrown out, but now that we know so much more about the DNA that came out yesterday afternoon, it's the DNA evidence now with the cell phone records, with the security videos. We know now that vehicle is seen on multiple videos, right? And I'm wondering if you're actually going to be able to tell that it's him. I've always wondered that. Now we know that the shoe print that was found in there, they're saying now, as it's come out, belongs to Bryan, the suspect. The knife loose with the DNA, and I don't know, something about now the fingerprints. We had heard about fingerprints back in the day, but we didn't really know a lot about it. Now they're saying that through it's a genealogy tree thing that they did, right? That one of these samples has come back to somebody familiar with Bryan Kohbegrer. I mean, somebody like an acquaintance, a friend, somebody, right? I've never known this before. And it's just now come out. And it's crazy to see how they have so much on him, right? And I didn't even know that, which I always thought they had a lot, but I didn't think they had this much, right? And the 2 unnamed people, are most likely going to be, I believe it's going to be the roommates, hopefully, that they do testify. And I also wanted to discuss Hold on, let me see where I put that down. Okay, we know the knife loose was found on Maddie's bed, right? We know that. The cell phone, the security videos, the believe that there's going to be, for both of you had his phone with him, it was just off or airplane mode or whatever, but it pinged and linked to the Wi-Fi of the Blue Smurfy, which we do know that now. As far as what's being told, we know, like I'm saying, take everything with a grain of salt till we know, because I'm not nobody investigating this. I'm just giving y'all my side of this, right? Of what came out. The Papa Rogers thing also threw me for a loop, but because I've never really said, okay, yeah, but now they're kind of putting that up there, right? FBI's kind of put out that they, I guess, feel that it is him. And one of them was the park behind the house, went through the tree line, through the sliding door was left open for a way out, right? And the car left skid marks, which we had heard it screeched the tires, but I didn't know they had skid marks to compare something to. That's pretty interesting, like the spin out marks or whatever. The cameras were seen all over. He was tracked all the way to his hometown, Albertsons everywhere. What was bought, we still don't really know, I don't think. Well, at least I don't know what was bought. I'm curious of what was bought. And where did he hide everything, right? I've always wondered, did they find this stuff, right? They combed that whole area that he drove really, really well. I'm sure they searched everywhere with drones and dogs and everything, right? But some of the FBI have put out that he left a digital footprint, for sure, right? And they know he had been to the house 12 plus times. The 3 male DNA samples from the house, one of them does happen to match Bryan Kohbegger's, I guess, friend, acquaintance, whatever, I don't know. So I don't know if that means that there's 2, or if that means that, it was on him and, he had touched something with those gloves on, or his friend was in his car or something, and somehow he got some of that guy's DNA and left it at the house. I don't know. But there's so much stuff out there, right? And then they're also trying to get out all the stuff that would get thrown out, everything from the car. The DNA that matched to somebody familiar connection to Kohbegrer, using public genealogy database. DNA from the trash can was also a match to the knife and to other things. I'm wondering what the other matches were, right? Was it fingerprints? Was it there's got to be some form of DNA in that house, right? Your body sheds skin. I think it's either going to be under fingernails, somewhere, somehow, there's DNA somewhere that matched him besides just that, I feel. They said they have a mountain of evidence, a very strong case, and I believe that. Plus, is there blood on the gas pedal, the seat belt, the brake pedal, right? They took all those out. Is there something on there? And if not, they wouldn't be trying to throw that out. I believe that they have a lot more matches on DNA, and of course the blood splatter and all that stuff. I'm wondering, somehow, some way, there's no way he got out of there, got in that car, and left, and didn't somehow leave something somewhere, right? Now, he had plenty of time to clean up. Do remember that. But if they had been watching him after 13 days, then they probably have a lot more than we know. Because we'll find out more on January 23rd. That's the next one. And then the jury will begin being picked in July, which is great. The seatbelt is my main concern in that car that they took out. The seatbelt and the brake pedal, because I wonder if he had the model where you have to touch the brake pedal to start the car. And if so, was that put button also removed, right? Because it could have had something on it that went down in between that ring. You can't really get in there to clean it. So if it was wet, it would have dripped down in there. I'm wondering what they have from the car. And about the IDs that were found in a box, wrapped up. Was that Maddie's ID, Kaylee's ID, Xana's ID, Ethan's? Who was it? Was it all 4 of their IDs? I think they had said 2 IDs, but I mean, there's just so much in this case now that's starting to come out that I'm really believing that it is him, right? I was always I don't really jump sides right away. I've always felt that it was most likely him, but now with all this new stuff coming out, y'all need to go check it out, guys. It was put out 20 hours ago, 19 hours ago. And I think CNB or somebody like that put it out. I'm sure everybody's jumping on it today, but I just wanted to bring it up and go over it because there's so much, and now that we're getting closer to trial, I want to be there for this. I do. I told y'all that. I want to figure out how I can do it. I know that's my peak searching time, but We're going to try to find some cases that we're searching within that area, and then we can kind of bounce back and forth, because I would like to hopefully pray by then we'll be live and I can film outside the courthouse, right? But I never really knew that the shoe print did belong to the suspect. I didn't know that for sure. I guess when they found the shoes in the car, they were able to match it up. But it is a match. And I'm wondering, was there anything on those shoes? You know, sometimes it'll drip on there and you don't see it, right? So was there something on those shoes that they found, right? They did bring them up. They kept the shoes, right? So I'm wondering if they have way more evidence. And I was also wondered, was there 2 knives used? Trigger warning. I'm wondering. Because they know he had bought 2. So I'm wondering if both were used, and that's why he pulled the second one out maybe, and that's how the sluice got left, right? I've always wondered that. Just maybe he was getting overpowered, right? And then, of course, the DP, that the judge is going to allow that. Thank God. Because if this man is guilty, then that's what he deserves. And the FBI, the stories about the FBI watching him take out the trash, they watched him for a while. They got a lot of footage on him that's going to be brought out to the court. I can't wait to see all that. When he was at home in his parents' home and he was taking trash, wearing gloves, all this stuff he was doing for a reason. I mean, everything when they found him, the way he was dressed makes him look guilty 100%, right? With gloves. Who wears gloves in their parents' home? I mean, come on. But, justice for these 4 individuals, Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan all deserve justice. That was a horrible day in remembering November 13th, 2022. And, the time limits on Papa Rogers. I'm still digging on some of that, because I know they say now that Papa Rogers came back or something. I don't know. Some people were saying, there was even a thing in there that put that JLR was behind Papa Rogers, which I never believed that for a minute. I don't know why that would even be brought up, guys. I mean, JLR's a good dude, man. Shout out to JLR. He always does good stuff. And he's on top of everything. He's always on top of his game. But, also the 2014 arrest of Bryan Kohbegrer. He was arrested, for stealing his sister's phone. And then he completed his whatever, right? Because he was supposedly on substances bad. And, I know they've always tried to say that somebody in that house was selling substances. And it might come out. We don't know that. But I'm not going to ever say it yes when we know that all the autopsies came back, all 4 of them had nothing in their system. So I'm not going to say that, right? I don't believe that. I think that was all a bunch of BS. But it could be true. Just I don't think it is. But I did want to come back and talk about this a little bit, because I have felt that this was not his first time, right? The cases of those other vegans, the 2 females that were unalived, and then the other lady that was unalived leaving her friend's house that was found. And I went back and watched some of those news clips, and you see the white car drive by in the news clip when they're filming the news clip, just like what happened in Idaho 4 when he drove back by, which they have all that pings on his phone, which is great. And I hope his phone had Google, like GPS, because if his car had GPS, just like his phone, like, wow, they can put wherever that car was, right? They're going to have all that to throw in there. So you can't get away from that. GPS you can't get away from. And you can't delete those things. They're always stored. It's all satellite image. It's done. It's once it's done, it's done. Like once you drive that trip, you drive that trip. It's logged somewhere, which I hope to God they have all that. Because that will prove that was his car, And if we can prove that was his car, and then they do have a photo of him from that gas station, or the cameras going into the campus or whatever, like that matches the Albertsons, right? Because we know that was him at Albertsons. It was the same car seen on camera all that time. So same license plate, same everything. So we know it's his car, but I would like to actually place him in Idaho, like be able to physically see his face on. I'm hoping that one of those clips, especially that one by that store where it's all lit up, I think you're going to be able to tell it was him, unless he had the black mask on already. Which I don't think so. I think he got dressed outside that house, just like I think he had trash bags and stuff to put stuff in. And that's how he was able to not leave hardly any. But we don't know really technically what he left. You got to remember, they're not going to tell us nothing, right? We don't know what they found in that car. Of course, they're going to lie and say nothing. But when it comes to trial, I mean, they wouldn't be sitting here saying we got such a strong case and so much DNA and footprints and fingerprints and now genealogy trees. What about Murphy's dog hair? Man, I hope that comes back. They're not going to let that out to a court either, but man, that would be the smoking gun if that dog cracked him, right? Wow, oh wow. Be amazing, guys. But I did want to spend a little time. My fire's getting low. I want to spend a little time with y'all and talk about this because it is getting closer and it is going to be this year. So, you know, justice for these four, for Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan is a must. Just like justice for everyone that's voiceless is a must. Sebastian Rogers, Summer Wells, all of them, guys. And, you know, I'm glad that all this is coming out, and I hope more comes out so we can see how much stronger the case really is. The security videos, to me, the cell phone records, the DNA evidence, the footprints now pointing to him as the suspect. Wow, oh wow. That's big news, guys. Go read it for yourself. Check it out, guys. And there's probably more. I didn't read a whole lot of it. I just read some of it. I was so shocked when I found out the footprint actually matched. I was really shocked. And the Papa Rogers thing, I don't know much about yet. I'm going to dig into that more and I'll find out and let y'all know, guys. But y'all have a wonderful day. Remember, this is all my opinions, my speculations, my theories. Alleged bubble. Remember my alleged bubble, right, guys? And trigger warning times 100 million. We'll talk later, guys. Y'all be safe, be good. All right? Bye.